The core difference between my understanding and the guru's approach lies in our perspectives and principles. Let's analyze this step by step with clear reasoning and relatable examples to help a common, simple, and pure-hearted person stay aware of the cunning and manipulative nature of people like him, and to remain connected to their true, permanent essence without mental pressure. 1. Guru's approach versus my understanding. Guru's path, based on imaginary concepts and false assumptions about an afterlife, promotes the illusion that salvation and true understanding can only be achieved after death, uses initiation rituals and verbal testimony to bind followers, encouraging rigid beliefs, fosters blind faith and harmful traditions in the name of spirituality, even in this scientific era. My understanding, based on direct experience and realization of the permanent self, achieved by deactivating the temporary elements and qualities of the complex intellect while still alive. One can live in their true permanent essence in a single moment without any rituals or fictional concepts. Focuses on living in harmony with nature, preserving both human and natural existence. 2. Reasoning and facts behind my principles. Temporary versus permanent. The Guru's teachings are rooted in the temporary aspects of fame, prestige, and wealth. My realization eliminates the impact of these temporary elements, allowing one to live in the eternal stillness of their true self. Experience versus imagination. The Guru's concepts about an afterlife are imaginative and lack logical or factual support. My understanding is based on a direct, present experience of the permanent self, which transcends the need for any afterlife beliefs. Scientific perspective. The Guru's path is contradictory to scientific principles, as it relies on unproven assumptions and rigid dogmas. My understanding aligns with a scientific approach to life, where I engage with reality as it is, without any fictional constructs. 3. Examples to illustrate the difference. Example 1. Imagine a person carrying a heavy burden of beliefs and rituals, convinced that they will only find peace after they die. This is the path of the Guru. Now imagine someone who, in a single moment, realizes they are free from this burden and experiences peace directly. This is my understanding. Example 2. A scientist tries to understand the universe based on observable facts and experiences. Similarly, my understanding is based on what I directly experienced, my permanent self, without any imaginary concepts. The Guru, however, is like someone clinging to old myths and stories, trying to make others believe in them without any evidence. 4. The impact of each path, Guru's path, leads to mental pressure, blind faith, and a rigid adherence to fictional concepts. People remain stuck in false hopes, never realizing their true potential and eternal essence. My path frees individuals from these mental pressures and false beliefs, enables them to experience their true, permanent self, living in peace and harmony with nature. 5. Living in the present with purity, nature, and existence. My understanding emphasizes living every moment in sync with nature, preserving and respecting life. The Guru's path is disconnected from the reality of life, focused instead on imaginary afterlife goals. 6. Conclusion. My realization, which is achieved by living in purity and simplicity, allows one to directly encounter their permanent self without any fictional constructs. It liberates people from the mental bondage of rigid beliefs and false hopes propagated by those like the Guru, making them aware of their true eternal nature. In essence, my principles provide a direct, clear path to living in harmony with oneself and nature, free from mental pressure or false beliefs, while the Guru's path traps people in a web of fictional concepts and mental delusions. In the entire infinite vast material creation, I am the only one who, despite living with a temporary body and complex intellect with temporary elements and qualities, have become impartial to myself by deactivating the complex intellect. Therefore, I am the only one with impartial understanding since the existence of humanity. This is because, in front of my pure qualities, I see every other thing, object, being, or word as merely an illusion, and something that contaminates my purity. I am capable of going to any extent to maintain my pure feelings and qualities without affecting anyone else. My purity is paramount to me. The world's top scientists, philosophers, and intellectuals have analyzed my written data based on logic, facts, and principles, and have concluded that I am the purest and most superior human being in existence. Additionally, the supreme system of nature has acknowledged my infinite purity by crowning me with a pure white light at Harmandir Sahib, Amritsar, in May 2024. My guru is lost in the temporary elements of fame, prestige, and wealth, being intelligent with a temporary complex intellect. His mindset was limited to personal gain, and his perspective was self-serving. Despite being in his presence for 35 years, he never understood my unique personality and always looked at me with a biased mindset. He tried to bind me to verbal testimony after initiation, showing rigidity towards all disciples. My precious life, breath, and time are important to me, and I see everyone else as mere means to an end based on his behavior. After understanding his intentions, I realized myself in a single moment, directly encountering my permanent self according to my principles. Soon after initiation, I also understood his fictional concept of the immortal realm and supreme being, and I openly explained this to his followers, revealing that these concepts were just mental fabrications without any real significance. Each person, being intelligent with a temporary complex intellect, can only lie as much as their intellect allows them. The temporary intellect's perception of I am Brahman is also a fiction of the complex intellect. The guru's aim was to establish himself in the temporary creation through fame, prestige, and wealth, while my focus was to understand myself and directly encounter my permanent, eternal self. I was steadfast in my goal, and the supreme system of nature manifested the possibility for me to realize my permanent self and live eternally in its infinite stillness. The guru, however, became satisfied with his pursuit of temporary fame, prestige, and wealth, and continues to search for what he never found before I even met him. If he and his 20 lakh blind followers do not become impartial to themselves and encounter their permanent selves, they will remain in a state of deceit for self-interest. The nature of complex intellect is to move towards greater complexity. So how can purity be expected when one needs to dive into the infinite depth of purity to realize the permanent self? I maintained and deepened my purity, even while being with a guru of greater complex intellect. When my guru says, "What I have, no one in the universe has," he does not understand the difference between the temporary and the permanent. He does not even know whether the soul and the supreme being exist, or whether the soul is within or outside the body. He has not become impartial to himself, and does not even know how to be impartial. My guru and his 20 lakh blind followers are just mentally diseased individuals, reinforcing a harmful tradition based on fictional stories and complex intellect, driven by